The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 20th day of December 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical Wells, One Communications, and Lindo's. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Philip Trott, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Phil, happy Tuesday, my brother.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Morning, good morning.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the news break brought to you by People's, right? Man.
What happened?
Brother went around People's yesterday, right?
Yeah.
The lines, brother. The lines, man. They were long.
Okay.
I was like, this is a good problem. No, it was good to see. It was good to see people out there shopping locally, but
the lines didn't affect me the time I went because I just went self-checkout, right?
At People's?
People, sorry, I'm thinking Linda's.
Oh, well, see, interesting, because I was like, yeah, people's gonna have to get that self-checkout up for me because people get to the register, have 1,000 questions. I'm like, you don't see people behind, whatever.
Yeah.
I
was thinking Linda's, my bad.
How's your Christmas shopping going?
My what now?
Oh, sorry about that. Let me up in the greetings, everyone, and thanks for making the daily routine a good one today as we welcome Road Safety Council Chairman Dennis Lister III to the show. The Daily Players more holiday trivia. Well, hey Phil, did you tell us what's on Shiloh's list already?
So Shiloh doesn't know how to write. So
okay.
He doesn't have no. We got him. Yeah, he'll be all right.
So, I'm sure he knows how to tell you what he wants. He ain't gonna know how to write.
Well, he tells me what he wants every day. So, in that respect, might as well be. It's just another day for him.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, look, I need to tie my laces. Yeah, do that. Okay, cool. I got you. But, hey, it's what they say. Do they say the most wonderful time of the year? Well, for children anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, for children. Children like to get their gifts. But hey, folks, we've got a conversation coming up, a big conversation, an important conversation, and we have an interesting question for you before we get to the Road Safety Council. Again, if this is your first time watching in a few weeks, you can now watch the Daily Hour live on thedailyhour.com. You no longer need social media. You don't need Twitter. You don't need Facebook. You don't need YouTube. You can just go on thedailyhour.com and watch us live every single day we are live. All right, so check us out. Make sure when you go on our website you're subscribed. Obviously, we're coming towards the end of the year. This is the final week of live episodes this year, and as we go into 2023, there will be some great things happening with the Daily Hour and the TDH community. You also want to make sure that you are continuing to share these conversations. I guess some of you are more comfortable sharing in WhatsApp groups. Do it. Some of you are comfortable sharing on Facebook. Do it. Some of you are comfortable with retweeting. Do it. We just need to ensure that these community conversations are front and center. And before we get into another very important conversation with the chairman of the Road Safety Council, Dennis Lister III, what we'd like to discuss with you is, well, not politics per se, but how can we attract more quality political candidates? I'm going to go on a limb and say Phil's never getting into politics. I'm just going to say that. Now, I'm going to say Phil's never getting into politics because Phil has more interest in doing other things, and that's not one of his things. Now, people may say, well, Jamal, you like politics. Why don't you get involved? You all would be calling me Donald Trump within 5 seconds of me saying I'm anti-politics. I could never. One thing, I don't believe in democracy as you all do. What do I mean by that? Have you seen some of the people who are responsible for voting? I'm just saying. We complain about candidates. We complain about people getting elected. But they wouldn't be there if some of us didn't vote for them. So the question of the morning is, how can we attract more quality political candidates into the political landscape? How do we attract them? How do we get we know, and this is true. We have said for years that the best people don't get involved politically. Because of that, we're left with people who probably couldn't find jobs elsewhere, so they get into politics. We're left with people who don't know how to create businesses, so they get into politics, right? We're left with people who just need to find a way to make a living. And when you get those kind of people, it becomes dangerous for progress. It becomes dangerous for progress because the only thing that they're focused on is maintaining power and their political position. So the question of the morning, again, folks, is how can we attract more quality political candidates? How do we do that?
Well, I don't know the answer to that one, but I could speak to sort of being in a position where there's a desperate need for quality people in that position. So what I mean by that is when I got into education, like I didn't want to get into education. That wasn't my thing. I did it because I needed a job. And but at the same time, people were desperate for a young black man in education. You know what I mean? So it's not something that I wanted to do, but when I was there, I wanted to do a good job in it. And so you have to sort of make it attractive, but because education's suffering from the same problem, like you have to make it attractive for quality candidates to get in there. And with politics, unfortunately, a person can sort of lose more than they gain by getting into politics and trying to do the right thing. So I really don't know the answer to that one. I know that it's a delicate situation, though.
That's a good point you made about teachers and education and yourself trying to get more quality black men in there in particular. Because I remember when I was doing a radio talk show about 15 years ago, and people were saying we need more black men in the classroom. How can we attract more quality political candidates? How can we get them in there? Angeline Butlerfield, she says, we get them, Jamal, but it's how do we get them to actually stay in the game? Well, who's someone we would consider a political candidate that we've gotten? Would you say that's left the game? Like who's one that I'd like to know? I mean, if you're comfortable saying a name, Angeline Butler, like who is someone that we got to actually and we couldn't get them to stay in the game? That's of interest to me. And I guess defining what is a quality political candidate. That's also something that we should say. Like, what defines a quality political candidate? Sean DeShields says the words quality and politics should never be used in the same sentence. Well, you know what, brother Sean, I agree based on what we've seen over and over and over. But we should be trying to change this narrative to the point that these words can be in the same sentence. I would say if you look at Curtis Dickinson, I think he's a perfect example of why we don't attract more quality political candidates. I mean, these people try to demonize a man for doing what we should be encouraging everyone to do, to go out and be successful in the private sector. They demonize the man for doing what most parents would love to raise their children to be, to support themselves. We demonize the man for not relying on politics to make a living. Think about that. Michael Daniels says, we the people need to be empowered with knowledge to better direct our politicians so that we can better direct them to get what we want.
I'm just thinking about a sort of secondary question is what encouraged um the older generation to become more engaged in getting into politics? Like
Racism
what?
and discrimination, and
Okay.
they were fighting for causes back then. I don't think it was about just trying to find a paycheck. I think back when you think about the 60s when the PLP was created, they were fighting for causes. They were literally fighting for their livelihood. Today, you don't see that same thing. You see them using those things to gain power, political power. And let me be clear, this is not about the PLP, folks. This is about quality political candidates. But I think back then, every generation, I think Maya may have spoken about it. Every generation has a different fight, right? Every generations they have different generations have different causes. So I think back then there was a collective cause for many Black people, whereas today it's a bit different. And understood. Angeline Butler says she had a friend, Jermaine Smith, who was in the game and is definitely of quality, and I think I know what happened there. If I'm not mistaken, she may have been the person that David Burt allegedly forcibly put Jason Hayward in that seat to become, win against Dwayne Robinson and become the candidate in the seat that the late Walton Brown had. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the person that was there. How can we attract more quality candidates into politics? Like, how can we attract more quality political candidates? We are starving for quality. I don't disagree with Michael Daniels, just going back to him. Part of it is, us becoming more educated, right? That's how we hold politicians accountable. We speak about it on this show all the time. We actually ask that question, right, Phil? We ask the question about, how do we hold our politicians more accountable? We always ask that. We have conversations. Are we getting closer to solutions as to how to do that? I don't know.
I can't answer that one either. I'm just going through looking at the comments as they come in. Kenton Trott says the difficulty is that politics is so polarized. Once you pick a side, you are branded from that side forever. As I said, you can lose more than you gain at times going into politics.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, I'd say this much on it. Kim Swan, Wayne Ferbert, and Jamal Simmons, I mean, they seem to be making out okay. Well, two of them seem to be making out quite fine in the PLP after their UBP days. But I do get your point about, being branded that side forever. Is the answer to that independent candidates? Do they even, do they have any power? I don't know. Charles H. Jefferson II says, does it make sense to encourage those who are subject matter experts to enter politics, i.e. Curtis Dickinson, but you have to allow them to use that expertise? Well, people like Curtis Dickinson are a threat to career politicians. They're never really going to be successful in a space where they're kind of not wanted. Remember, this is an intelligent man that was successful in the private sector. I may not agree with him politically, right? But just because I don't agree with him politically doesn't mean that he's in the best interest of Bermuda and the greater good of the political landscape, right? Challenge is you need at least 20 more Curtis Dickinsons to change the narrative in Bermuda. Unfortunately, we have about 20 more David Burts than we do Curtis Dickinsons. And the difference between these gentlemen, truthfully, is the fact that David Burt is a politician. Curtis Dickinson is a businessman. One is trained to win elections. The other is trained to make money. I think it's a difference there. So we're challenged. Michelle White says maybe politics needs to be highlighted as a business opportunity by switched on parents. What do you mean by that? What she means by that, Phil? You think?
I'm just trying to parse it right now.
What do you mean by that? Yeah, switched business opportunity.
Like a career?
Yeah, she says, Michelle White says, parents guide our children towards careers, students study political science, etc. What do they do? Knowledge. Okay, I think I got you. I think I got you. Okay, got you. Kenton Trott says, if there were more independent candidates that were successful in getting votes, I think it would attract more quality candidates. Yeah. But that then falls back on us, though. Why do we not vote for independent candidates?
I think I think that might be one of the issues, is that we tend to vote just for the party. Like, we tend to vote whoever's PLP, that's who I'm voting for.
Mm.
You know, whoever's not PLP, that's who I'm voting for.
Mm.
You know, so I think that's where we have that issue. This is a tough one this morning.
Yeah, I agree. Michael Daniels says, I believe that the definition of a leader has changed. So, Michael Daniels, what has it changed from and what has it changed to? I don't disagree. Just from your perspective, what has it changed from and what has it changed to? Sean DeShield says, many politicians' motives are unfortunately misguided, as they should have had a genuine desire to make things better for the community instead of focusing on their own financial gain. I think, well, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think that Phil, I want to go back. I think you said it earlier. We have to ask ourselves, why are the current people in politics, right? Why have they decided to be in politics, right? Is it the greater good? Is it because they couldn't find a job? Is it because they wanted to make a difference? I said just a couple of days ago, the saddest part about the current political landscape in Bermuda is the PLP and their base actually think that they've won something. They feel great about it. But there's a segment of Bermuda that doesn't need politics and prepared for the day that we would end up with the leader and the government that we have now. And they're okay because they've set up, they knew this day would come.
Mm-hmm.
Only, I think, the PLP and their base that do not understand this. And they're the ones that are going to be impacted, not so much the politicians, because at the end of the day, the politicians and the ministers or cabinet ministers, at least, they're going to be okay for the short term. It's those coming behind them. So, it's an interesting time for Bermuda politics. And unfortunately, to be fair, we won't know probably for another 5 years to a decade the true impact of today's governing. We just won't know. We don't find out overnight. Shamari Talbot says, if we had more honest voters, we would attract more quality politicians. Well, again, it comes back on us again. It's back on us. Charles H. Jefferson II says, when did politics switch to being a career and not service? Well, that goes back to Phil saying, I wonder what did basically older people, what made them get into politics? And I said earlier, back then they were fighting for causes. Today, I think they're fighting for jobs. I think that's the biggest difference.
I'm just thinking about Sean DeSeal's earlier comment is just and maybe this is me being naive when he said politicians' motives unfortunately are misguided, as they should have had a genuine desire to make things better for the community. I honestly, I want to believe that a lot of them did. A lot of them do have a genuine desire to make things better for the community. But I think I'll go back because my analogy is education. I think we have some genuine teachers that want to do a good job, and maybe they're just not good at it. Maybe this just isn't the role for them, type of thing. You know what I mean? I do understand that politics can be dirty. I understand it can be corrupt at times, but I do genuinely believe that there are politicians who want to do a good job. I know if I got into politics, I would be there because I want to do a good job. I may end up, you may see me in the newspaper as this is the most incompetent MP ever. You know what I mean? And so it's not that my desires were misguided. It's just that I'm incompetent. This is not the real for me.
But I think, I've seen quite a few get into politics with the right idea. I think the question is, what changed? How did they change?
Well,
I think that's what we're up against. Renee Simmons says politics is a dirty business. I often wonder how ordained ministers survive the political arena, as you cannot serve two masters. They are trustworthy, but are they truly genuine? Carla John says, As long as elections are based on popularity instead of performance, intellect, and integrity, we will always have difficulty encouraging new candidates. Samcat Place says the problem is that when good candidates run with good intentions, the risk is that when they get in and share their views and don't agree with the seasoned leaders, they are penalized for it. I think we have examples of that. She goes on to say, I wouldn't want to get into politics for that reason. Michael Daniels says a good politician will promote their best intentions when they are not getting anything of value from their electorate. And Sean DeShield says, historically, many politicians are driven by greed, power, and improving their own economic status instead of making things better for the community. And I would say, to Phil's comment, I think there are a lot that get involved politically because they actually want to make a positive change. They want to do it. I've seen it, but we need to ask ourselves, what happens that changes? Is it they get into politics and they realize, hey, hold on. If I can aim to become a cabinet minister and make 100,000, if I just go along with things rather than, is it easier to serve your leader over the people? Like, we don't know. What's the answer?
I think some, because of the nature of politics, I think some that even want to get into it for the right reasons might get caught up in the whole chess game of trying to of staying in the seat that they're in. And for me, that's one of the things that just kind of turns me off of even going that direction.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's bring in Maya. Interesting question, though, folks. How can we attract more quality political candidates? What I'd like to say, I think we actually have one of the few quality candidates coming on today, talking about the road safety chairman, Dennis Lister III. But he'll be coming on shortly after Miss Palacio with your daily hour news break.
Good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy, and I can't believe you just called me Miss Palacio. Don't ever do that again.
Yeah, hey, you're getting up there.
I'm just you're catching us up, Maya. I met somebody this week. Oh, Mr. Hartman. It just don't sit well with me. It don't sit well with me. I mean, Uncle Jay or something, but no. But no. Hey, I know you don't want none of this one, right?
I would have a lot to. Okay, I'm gonna just put my 2 cents on this opinion because one thing I will say, and this is worldwide, not just in Bermuda, but politicians normally stem from families, right? That's literally it. They continue on with the same legacy. My father, my uncle, my whomever was a politician. This is the road I travel. And when it's not taught at young ages, then it's not something that we believe that we can become because we don't understand it. And that's where we are right now. We're in a place where we don't quite understand everything that goes on with government and within politics. So if you're not teaching it to the students about what it is, the way new politicians come is because of their family, and they teach it at home, and they teach them what it is about and what they're doing. But for the majority, no, we don't learn it. And sometimes if you just have family continuing on with family, you get the same type of person continuing on with the same type of legacy. So no change is bound to happen if it's just coming from the same place.
I would concur based on what I saw in politics. But for me, the reason I got politically involved, not as far as wanting to run, is because I didn't like a lot of laws. I think the young lady, Sophie,
Tessitore.
I think she is getting involved because she doesn't like things she sees. And I think that's fair. But I think to Maya's point is, the only way to, address what we're seeing in terms of attracting quality is educating young people from young in terms of what it means to be involved politically and so on. Now, perfect example, we have Dennis Lister III on this morning. Who's his father? His father and him are both sitting MPs. So you can see that it is a family thing there. You have young Ryan Robinson, parent chief, who may end up in politics. His uncles and father were involved. So I see that. But then there's David Burt, the premier. Was his father involved politically? At least a candidate. Why did he get involved? Well, if you ask him, if I'm not mistaken, he got involved because he couldn't find work. So he wanted to make a difference. The difference that I see is not the difference that's benefiting Bermuda. The difference I see is you went and got a job. I didn't see the difference that you went in there and created jobs and opportunities for others. Maybe he's trying. It just hasn't come to fruition because politics is teaching us that governments don't create jobs, that they're to set legislation, and policies so that people, entrepreneurs, the Mayas of the world, the Phils of the world can actually create opportunities. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, let's get into the news this morning.
I know. I was like, what? Didn't this the news break?
5 minutes in, a firearm was last week taken off the streets by officers as the Bermuda Police Service launched an operation dubbed Operation Limelight. Officers executed warrants at a number of locations, mainly in the Pembroke Parish area. Apart from the firearm, several rounds of ammunition, as well as quantity of illegal drugs with an estimated street value of $2,000 were seized. One suspect, a 41-year-old male, was arrested in connection with the seizure, and the suspect has since been released on police bail. All items seized have now been sent for forensic testing, and no further information will be given at this time.
Real quickly, is that the actual firearm you think that they sent?
Yes, I believe they would send us the actual picture of the firearm that was collected.
Wow.
Yeah, the one.
And interesting, and tell me if I'm mistaken, audience. I just remember if you got like arrested for a charge with a firearm, I don't remember you getting bail so fast. I thought that was a serious offense back in the day. But again, we commended the Bermuda Police Service some weeks ago because of the things that they're doing in terms of taking drugs and weapons off the street. So again, props to them for trying their best, doing their job to keep Bermuda and Bermudians safe.
Well, next up on the news today, the 2023 cruise ship season projections are very promising, and that is said by the Minister of Transport, the Honorable Wayne Furbert. The Minister of Transport are prepared for 224 cruise ships to arrive in Bermuda as of next year, including 7 scheduled for just next month as early as January 4th. He also says they will return or potentially exceed pre-pandemic levels. He gave some figures saying that next year the total estimated economic impact is $200 million, an increase of 28% over 2022's estimated economic impact.
Mm. Hey, man, we just got to find a way to get cruise ship visitors to spend, honestly.
I will also say that I believe it was last year that I did have a conversation with the former Minister of Transportation, Lawrence Scott, and the projections were also very promising about having a lot of cruise ships coming to the island, but unfortunately the number didn't, come up to that same amount, whether it be some things just fell through and didn't happen. So hopefully that doesn't happen for this year and that we do get those projections out the number of cruise ships that they believe that they will have coming to Bermuda.
Yeah, indeed.
Next on the list, the Ministry of Public Works would like to advise the public of the upcoming waste and recycling collection scheduled over the Christmas and New Year's holiday. Here's it right here for you guys. You can take a quick screenshot so you know what day to put out your trash and when it will be collected. Just some quick highlights. Christmas Day and Boxing Day will be observed on Monday, the 26th of December and Tuesday, 27th of December. And during the Christmas week, trash that is usually collected on Monday will be on Wednesday, Tuesday will be on Thursday, Wednesday will be on Friday, and Thursday and Friday will be collected Saturday, the 31st of December. So those are some things to look out for. Again, take a screenshot real fast so you have it there for you on hand so you guys know exactly when you guys got to put out your trash.
Yeah, that lost me just now. Tuesday. Tuesday's Wednesday. I took a screenshot though.
There you go.
There you go. Because it's always hard to remember the trash collection days. I always continuously forget it. So I'm definitely glad to have that in my pocket so I know when to take out my trash. All right, upcoming news. The Skills Development Program, which began in 2015, has since seen over 150 participants. This year, out of the 13 participants who graduated from the recent Skills Development Program, 5 will be joining the Department of Parks as full-time employees. This was announced yesterday at the graduation ceremony with remarks from the Minister of Public Works, David Birch, and the program will continue to assist the others in getting full-time employment in other sectors across the island. And those are the names of those who had graduated from the development program.
Well, this is good to see.
Yeah, it is, man.
Because the parks is the ones that take care of like the landscape of the island, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And, I'm just gonna be honest. We need you all because it ain't been looking too sharp. And I'm getting off the plane and driving across the causeway like this ain't the Bermuda I remember. I'm just saying. So thank you for this program and thank you for these young people for having an interest in making Bermuda look as beautiful as we know she is.
Exactly, and you may recall a story that I did about just the bathroom area itself at some of the beaches, and then one of the places I did go where the grass was exceedingly tall, it looked like it hadn't been cut for months. I'm like, I don't know how people get into the bathroom here because I got cut up just trying to get there just to get the video footage of it. Last on the news, This is actually coming from Bernews. Method Media Bermuda will be presenting the documentary film Fabric, Portuguese History in Bermuda, taking place at the BUEI on Thursday, December 29th. Tickets are available on PTix, and they are $20. Showtimes are 3:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. And a brief Q&A will follow afterwards.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. How's the weather looking?
The weather's looking like it's going to be some sunny breaks, but I think it's going to still be kind of gray and cloudy. There are supposed to be moderate to strong winds. Not you being Sancho right now, Phil. Please stop it.
It's
Please
windy.
stop it.
It's windy.
Winds moderate to strong, gradually easing moderate at the evening time in Bermuda, and we have a high of 66 degrees Fahrenheit. And please, I say it again, do not play if you're on a bike. Get a scarf and wear your gloves because it is really, really cold out there. It's nippy on the bikes, I'm telling you.
And button your helmet.
But always buckle your helmet. I had to say it to someone yesterday at leaving the store. I was like, I opened the door and I was like, your helmet.
But did we figure out, because audience, help us out. I'm not no physics person.
No, I wanted to though. I did remember it and I want to have that for today. So I'm going to try to have that for you tomorrow.
So we're trying to figure out, because it's cold, right? But then when you get on a bike and that wind's hitting you, we need to know what the actual temperature is for bike riders. Because when, I'm on a call with somebody overseas and I'm on video, they're wondering why I'm all buckled up and so on, just getting off the bike. And I'm like, it's cold.
Yeah.
I need an actual temperature to tell them it is. Something tells me it's got to be like 30 something on that bike if we're hitting 60, if it's 60 degrees, right? And you all can laugh all you want when I say, and I'm going 40. I need to know what's the wind chill at 40 degrees, yeah, whatever. You get my point. But,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Days of the year, Phil. What you got for us?
Yeah, today's day of the year is Go Caroling Day. May not be Jamal's thing, but caroling has a long history in the world, potentially existing longer than Christmas itself, and having moved into that religious practice from many older roots. This is no surprise given that the act of singing has long been a form of religious observance, and religious hymns are certainly not a new way of honoring one's faith. So the best way to celebrate Go Caroling Day is to organize a group of friends, get out there and get in front of people's doors and go singing.
If I would have known, I would have said Phil, Sancha, Maya, Bert, and well, Sherry and Tamara's not in Bermuda, but I would have said, let's go caroling, you guys. I mean, I know a little, oh, holy night, the stars are bright.
You're breaking up. You're breaking
up. I lost myself.
Something wrong. My internet over here.
See you later, Maya. I'm not going to give you no more of that singing.
Bye, guys. I will say, if you do decide to do it, Jamal, call me. I'm not playing. I will do it. I will do it.
All right. See Maya's done. See you later, Maya. All right, folks. We've got Dennis List of the Dirt coming up. If you appreciated this morning's discussion and the news break, of course, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. If you're on one of those platforms that offers that, retweet it, share this conversation, because we're about to get very, very serious about the roads in Bermuda. Stick with us. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Philip Trout, I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, if you don't know, you no longer need social media to tune into Bermuda's daily talk show. The Daily Hour is now streaming live on thedailyhour.com. So tell all your friends and family. You know, Nana, I went to see my Nana yesterday, and she spoke up to me. And she don't really get to watch on TV anymore, so we gotta make sure she's able. She don't have social media,
Right.
She just needs to computer or the screen and just watch live as we're going. But I have to start speaking better, on air. Nana tells you that you need to start speaking properly. So
We taught you better.
yeah. So all that down the road and craziness down there, right?
The education we pay for it. So no, Jamal.
Apparently, all that's not acceptable, bruh. See, yeah. Anyway, morning, Nana. If you're tuned in. Without further ado, folks, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got Dennis the third. We're talking about road safety this morning. Let's give him a TDH welcome. Yes. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, there, Mr. Hartman and Mr. Phil. How are you guys?
How's it going, man?
I'm just not understanding why I get a Mr. Hartman. Like, I'm the oldest one here, and he gets a Phil. Like, I mean,
because
geriatric on the show.
Yeah.
I'll restart. Good morning, Jamal. Good morning.
Thank you, sir. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Hope everyone's doing good. This week,
Jesus greetings to you.
Yes,
we all should be looking forward to this weekend, spending some time with family and friends. So
we certainly are.
It's a good week. Hope everyone enjoys this week.
We got to get there safely.
Indeed,
Yeah.
and I think conversations like this will, as Phil just said, hopefully help us get to this weekend safely and through the holiday season. But before we get into the meat of the conversation, just remind people, obviously you've been on this show before, just the purpose of the Road Safety Council and your role as chairman.
Well, with the Road Safety Council, we are a government mandated body that oversees road safety in Bermuda. So that is under the Ministry of Transport. That's who we come under. And we are here to, for one, we can recommend or suggest policy changes and things like that to government. We don't actually have the teeth to go and make change policy, but we can suggest and recommend policy to the ministry that where we see can help improve or address road safety in Bermuda. That's our purpose. We do have a mission and a vision statement. Our mission statement is to educate the public with effective tools to reduce road collisions and road fatalities. And our vision statement is to create a safer road culture that promotes positive driving or riding practices, creating smarter road users and saving lives. So that is what our purpose is, and that is what our ultimate objective is to reduce collisions and fatalities and overall saving lives on our roads.
And I must say, I mean, I think you all do a great job, especially as it relates to awareness. We've just experienced our 9th and 10th road fatality in the last few weeks. However, this is much lower than the previous year in 2021, which I believe tied a record of 17. I think that may have been a record. What is the Road Safety Council doing to reduce that number even more in 2023?
Well, just to go back a bit there, Jamal, the actual record, I believe, is 22 fatalities in a year. So we didn't reach that last year, but it still was a high number last year. This year, we have a week and a half, just about 2 weeks left in this year. So we hope that this year does not see any more fatalities. And last year would have been an outlier because since my time as chairman in 2018, we had been seeing each year a reduction of road traffic fatalities year on year. If you look back in 2018, there were 15 road fatalities. 2017 was 15. 2018, there was 12. 2019, there were 9. And then during the COVID years, 2020 and 2021, we actually saw the numbers shoot back up. And what we attribute that to is we can say COVID fatigue or COVID related. That's the term I would use. Is because with people being on lockdown, being locked in their houses, and then once we did come out of lockdown or the different quarantine periods and things like that, we saw the driving behavior just become reckless. Whether it was people, I know you're overseas, but I know Phil can relate. In Bermuda, we had the curfews, and so during those periods, we saw that there were increasing accidents or other collisions because people were trying to race home and beat the curfew. So that's what we relate 2020 and 2021 during those COVID years. That spike in fatalities and collisions is because the COVID impact. Now that we've come out of COVID, I think the mindset of people and just the stress levels of people in some instances has come down. There's still stress levels out there, but it has come down, and that has sort of had an impact on the roads because we aren't seeing the high numbers that we had seen in the previous years. And from the road safety standpoint, how we can keep improving it is again just constantly driving our message home. I think in 2018, 2019, that's where we were having the impact because we were driving that message home. You heard us on the radios, you saw us in different places, and it was a constant visibility from the Road Safety Council. And that just kept on the front of everyone's minds. As I said, COVID came in, it halted some things, changed some things, but now that we're out of it and we're actually able to get back, we can be again more visible and proactive, I say, because we do like to try to constantly stay ahead, whether it's putting out the information that people need, again, just trying to stay ahead of or just prevent things from happening. While we cannot prevent accidents from happening, what we can do is, as we do each month on the radio talking about road safety tips, we have our monthly slogans and we have our different campaigns throughout the year so that we can constantly be on the minds, on the public's mind when they're on the roads.
Nice. Okay. Interesting. So we recently, we saw the police officers up in the West End. They were using their own cash to reward good drivers. Pretty sure you saw that one.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that, Jester?
I commend that. Whether it's the police officers, it could be different entities. It could have been the fire or the EMTs. I support that. But also as the Road Safety Council, that is something that, and I know I've been on the show before and we've mentioned this before, because a lot of what the Road Safety Council is doing right now is having discussions and engaging in meetings with different entities. And one of that is having discussions with the insurance companies on how we can have a driving, better driving perks or something like that in Bermuda. Because you see that overseas. If you go a year without getting an accident or having to claim, on your insurance, you get discounts, you get perks, things like that. So it's having discussions on how we can sort of bring that or some sort of form of that to Bermuda. We have enough insurance. We have local insurance companies here that, we can sit, talk, and see if a person does not have an accident or doesn't have to claim an insurance for a whole year. There should be something, incentives to say, okay, this person, whether it's a discount on this or whatever it is, to encourage good driving. And I know there are people that every day they do good driving without any encouragement, but we need to support those, but also encourage others. And if that means offering incentives from the insurance companies, things like that, to help, raise our level of driving. We support it here at the Road Safety Council. And as I said, there's some discussions that we've had them, but we have to have further discussion on how and what that sort of initiative will look like.
I would love for that to happen because anything I could do to reduce the bill in this house, I will take it.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
So what type of programs are there to encourage us as road users to make responsible choices during the holiday season?
Well, first of all, during the Christmas period, this slogan for December is our designated driver slogan. And that's geared towards as I said earlier in my opening statements, this is Christmas week. You know, you want to socialize with friends and family. We've had last week with Christmas parties or almost this whole month. So the designated driver is what we don't want to tell people, no, you cannot go out and have fun and socialize and consume alcohol. What we're asking is that you do it responsibly. There's going to be joy parties, social get-togethers, all the parties going on different community clubs and things. We want, if you're going out, if you're a group of friends, pull straws, rocks, paper, scissors. Someone can be designated driver so that you go out, all of you can have fun, but you know that there's one person that hasn't been drinking alcohol that can drive you all home safely. And if you're going out, you know, back to back 3 nights, you can rotate it so that you know each night someone is designated driver for that night. Outside of that designated driver campaign, we also put our transportation plan initiative. We like to highlight that also during Christmas time. It's a year-long initiative, but we highlight it definitely during the big times of the Carnival weekend, Cup Match, and Christmas. And that again is, if you're an event organizer, you're putting on a big party, what we ask, whether you can liaise with us at the Road Safety Council or you can go directly to the transportation providers, is that you have a transportation plan of how to get your event goers home safely. So, an example, I, Dennis Lister, I'm putting on a party at Pier 6. You know you're going to have people coming out and consuming alcohol. So what we would ask is that you arrange, whether it's with mini buses, you know, you might have people that might have to stay in the ends of the island's dockyard in St. George. You might want to arrange a ferry, or, you know, you might arrange a slew of taxis. That is that you can have a pickup or a drop-off location, pickup and drop-off location for your guests. So example, we know that there's people coming from the East End. So we have a pickup location at Shelly Bay. You're coming to a party at Pier 6. You would have mini buses waiting. People can drive to that location. They know that they'll get picked up, go to the party, have fun, socialize, consume alcohol, and that you know that you have a mode of transportation to get you from that party back to your car. Yes, we know that that is not going to eliminate everyone driving on the roads, but we are trying to reduce the less amount of people that are driving on the roads, and again, the less distance. You know, if you just leave a party and you hop in your car and you're leaving town and you stay Hamilton Parish, that's a long drive of risking driving under the influence. If an event organizer has a transportation plan and they know that you're going to get from town to Shelly Bay, or if you're in the West End, from town to, let's say, you know, Rangers, that way that the people in the bus or whatever mode of transportation, they have some time to, you know, catch themselves, and again limit the distance that they have to drive while they're intoxicated. So during this period, those are two of our bigger campaigns: our designated driver campaign and the transportation plan initiative on how we can reduce collisions and fatalities over this time period. Because the last thing anyone wants is, especially during this season of family and coming together, is to get any call saying that a loved one has been in an accident, that's seriously injured, or worse, they are a fatality. So we're trying to limit that so that everyone can have enjoy and have a safe and holiday.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's the most important thing that we're going to hear this morning, man. So just real quick, are there any trends that you've noticed over the past year, whether negative or positive, in related to our driving, that we should be aware of?
What I would say, for one, and it's something that we did highlight back in October or in November, was that, and it has been a while, a few years, you've seen the newer models of cars that come in. They have the brighter headlights. We actually did a statement, as I said, in October or November regarding that, because the headlights on these newer, especially some of the bigger models of vehicles, they can be dangerous, especially in Bermuda, to oncoming vehicles. And I say that because in these other jurisdictions where these bigger cars are built and they are used more, they have multiple lane highways. So there's very few instances, unless you're maybe on a one lane country road in the US or something like that, where you have head-on traffic. Normally you're on a 2, 3, 4 lane highway, and so those brighter beams, they're seen ahead, and there's no one to sort of interfere if they're driving. But in Bermuda, it's all one-on-one, head-to-head interaction. So these bigger cars with the brighter LEDs, and they're higher up, so it's shining right. If your car is lower down and these new ones are higher up, the light is shining right in your eyes. So we did a campaign on that and some people drive fog lights on and their headlights on, the bright ones. So what we did in that statement was to encourage people to sort of drive with their dimmers on, and only and in certain occasions where, yes, some areas might be very dark, that you flip on the high beams. So that way, again, it's a hazard for oncoming people towards you. And I know myself, I have a low car. There are times when you have a car or vehicle come towards you, there's bright lights, and you have to slow down. You have to put on brakes because that light might give a little blind, in your vision. So it is something real and relevant. So we just encourage those with those vehicles to remember to be considerate of other drivers, especially seniors. Seniors, and it doesn't have to be someone 65 and older. It could be someone a little younger, 55 and older. If their eyesight, or again, it might not just be the eyesight, it's just the power of that the beam.
Right.
So really quickly, Renata, I just want to ask you, how can the TDH community help the Bermuda Road Safety Council fulfill its mandate in making Bermuda's roads safer?
Again, it's all about education and promotion. So with the Road Safety Council, we like to have hit both ends of the spectrum, whether that's the younger generation or the older generation. And the more education, it's about making better and more informed drivers. That's, again, we can't be everywhere, but if we can be on the radios and just have, and the conversation is in people's heads, that's how we can help change it. And I say that because when I'm on the radio and we're having discussions, and then the next day or a few days later, someone heard me and they come up to me and say, "Oh, I heard you on the radio, and what you were talking about, I hadn't thought about, or what you're talking about, I had to think about it and say, okay, let me try and practice that." So the more visible we are, whether again it's on the radio or you see us and things like this, interviews like this, or when I am on the news, if we can all just again drive it. The Road Safety Council is putting out the correct information, but the public can pick up on it. And yourselves as media outlets and different entities, you can drive home those good driving practices. And I think that's what goes back to what the Road Safety Council started in 2020 was each month we have our monthly slogan, but they're not standalone. They sort of tie into each other. So at the end of the year, you've got 12 different tips or slogans on how to be a better driver, so that if we all put those things into practice, each year we should be saying, how can I be better than I was last year with my driving? And that even ties into sort of the first part of driving practice.
We'll move on real fast though. Again, we'll run out of time. Media Maya, go into the audience now. What does the Junior Road Safety Council do? I had no idea there was one.
Yeah, so there is a Junior Road Safety Council. It goes back maybe the last 15 years, but it has at different times come defunct. In the last year, 2021, we did bring back the Road Safety Council. The Junior Road Safety Council, and part of that is to reach the younger demographic. I consider myself still to be young. I'm over 35, but I still consider myself to be young. But to those that are 15, 16, 17, I might not be able to relate to them. I might not be able to get them. But if we have their own peers that know how to reach them, then that's where they can be effective. And so that's where we brought in the Junior Road Safety Council. They have their own TikTok and Instagram page. And so that's how they interact with that demographic, so that they can, and also during the school. So in putting together the Junior Road Safety Council, what we try to do is try to get 1 or 2 representatives from all the different high schools. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, but we do have most of the high schools represented. So those students there, they are sort of a representative of the Road Safety Council at their schools also. So they can, amongst their peers, talk about road safety issues. One thing in 2023, what the Road Safety Council looked to do is to get back into school presentations. We have to hope that during COVID, But so we're looking to get back. And so by doing that, we also engage with those junior road safety members at those schools so that they can be a part, but they can also, again, be that representative to those schools.
All right. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off, but we just have questions from the audience that I want to get
No
through.
worries.
Shamari Talbot says, with helmets being an important safety device, why aren't helmets checked by TCD to ensure that they are not defective? There are many unsafe helmets being used on our roads, with some being on the heads of children.
Thank you for that question, Mr. Talbot. What I would say to that is, last year, or it might have been early this year, in one of our topics, it was geared towards helmets. And what that is each helmet should be verified. I cannot remember the name of the institute, but it's a standard that all helmets have to pass. And that is guaranteed for is up to 5 years. So every 5 years, you should be purchasing a new helmet. And especially, even if you might get one small ding in it, it might not be a serious crack, but that small ding, it impacts the integrity of that helmet. So by international standards, every 5 years, person should be purchasing a new helmet to ensure that it's safe and can correct. And a person would have to do research to understand the different types of helmets, the different standards and certification that each helmet has. But that's what we, as I said, these topics are things that we do throughout the year, and we can always, again, come back to that helmet topic to, again, put the information out there. But we encourage people every 5 years to purchase a new helmet so that you can have one that is safety, that is standard safety and fit for purpose.
Alrighty. And before you go, just let us know, I mean, what would be your message to the Bermudian people on the roads this holiday season?
I'll end where I start there. Again, it's Christmas, a time of family, a time of socializing and fun. And we don't want to spoil that with any bad news on our roads. So again, to all the motoring public, to all of your listeners, I just encourage everyone again, we all share the roads. It's not just you, it's all of us. And we all have to do our part to keep each one of us safe. So that's, again, following the speed limit, 35, it is the speed limit. You know, people complain, but we have to do the speed limit. Wearing your seatbelts, you know, following at the correct distance behind vehicles in front of you. All of these things that we do speak about are all little practices that, if you put them in place, will help make our roads safer, and if everyone is doing it. So I just ask everyone out there, again, if you go out to socialize and consume alcohol, be responsible. That is the key word. Be responsible. Plan how you'll get home, whether it's a designated driver, whether you're hiring a taxi, minibus, or the last thing is, if you have a relative or friend that at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, they would rather get a call from you saying, hey, I'm drunk, can you pick me up? Than a call from the emergency service saying, we have a friend or family member here that we need you come to attend the hospital. So everyone that asks to help us have a safe holiday, to be responsible, don't drink and drive, and to slow down your speed.
Dennis Lister III, thank you so much, sir. Honestly, and I just hope people take heed. Always a good conversation with you. And I look forward to talking with you about how successful this holiday season was and the work that you all are doing to contribute to it. Sir, you and your family, all the best this holiday season.
Likewise to you also, Jamal and Phil, and I wish you guys a good holiday season also. And if I see you guys over the holidays, you know, and a good new year and everything. See you guys in the
Have a good one, man. Appreciate it.
23. Have a good one.
All
That
right.
was the third, folks. If you appreciated that conversation, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, share this conversation. He shared important, valuable information. We're going to take our last break, come back, wrap it up before we send you off for the day. Stick with us.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All right. Thanks again to Dennis Lisser III for coming on, the Road Safety Chairman, and having that conversation with us today. Don't forget, folks, please share these conversations amongst your friends, your family. These are important conversations for our community. Phil, you know what time it is. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Very easy one for you, Phil. Are you ready?
Oh, pressure.
No, it's easy.
All right.
What dates do Gombe troops usually begin dancing throughout Bermuda until New Year's Day? What date?
Boxing Day.
Damn it. Oh, I didn't stop my music. Boxing Day. Boxing Day.
You
it
know,
is.
sometimes when the answer's like, it's obvious, but it's like, it can't be that. It can't be that.
I tell you, it was easy. You got, yeah.
Right.
Everybody got Boxing Day. I got it. Boxing Day. That is it. That's in Bermuda Trivia, folks. Bermuda Trivia can be purchased at Caesar's Pharmacy. It can be purchased at People's Pharmacy, Flying Colors, Caesar's, Somerset, People's, Brown and Co. But
Stock and stuffer.
Yeah, the holiday, it is a stock and stuffer. People have been telling me. The holiday edition is at Brown and Co. and the Book Mart, as well as Caesar's Pharmacy. Phil, let's wrap it up. Politics, quality candidates, and then road safety. Final thoughts.
It's tough, man. We just got to figure out a way to make politics more attractive for like you said, quality candidates, and not as detrimental to someone's personal brand, I suppose. Road safety, man, just be safe. I don't want to hear no news about anybody for the rest of the year. Please, let's just take your time and get there when you get there.
Yeah, I concur. To get more quality in politics, it's going to take removing what's currently there. I don't think quality candidates want to work with what they don't deem quality that's already existing in the political landscape in Bermuda. As far as road safety, it's very simple. I don't like to blame alcohol or drugs, no matter how hard the drug, for the behavior of people, unless it's truly an addiction. But because we have minds, we have choices and decisions. Before we do what we do that leads to that, we have a decision to make. And so our decisions, we need to take accountability for our actions this holiday season and make better choices. You heard what the chairman said. Schedule a ride. Even if that family member, and again, be accountable. Don't put it on other people, right? But if it's that bad, I'm sure your family member would rather help you out, pick you up, than get that other call.
Well, get a friend like Jamal.
Yeah, everyone thinks that, right? But I'm in bed early. Trust me. That's why I can't be like Karen Simmons, designated driver. I'm in bed early. So if it's your day drinking, maybe I can help you out. Phil, you got some daily inspiration for us?
Yeah, man. This one's from Winston Churchill. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. You wouldn't believe I practiced that, but you know.
I like that one, though. I like that. Yeah. Let's take some optimism into 2023. Thanks again to our partners, Medical Hours, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Philip Trott. I'm Jamal Hartman. My friends, please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out, and I have no mug here for you. See you tomorrow.
Me neither.